Do you have a morning or an evening routine?
My morning routine, no. This I find, especially with coaching people, it works for some people than others. For me, what this comes down to is knowing your inner character tendencies. So I'm a highly motivated person. I'm very self-disciplined. I have a high level of self-worth, and these are all things that I've developed. And because of that, when I get up in the morning, I know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing it. Now, my evening routine is probably more important than my morning routine, because I program my day before I get up. So if I was a trainer and I had, a day full of personal training clients, I would make sure that I understood when my clients were coming in. I understood my jobs for that day. So for example, if I had 6 hours of PT clients, but I had 2 hours of admin that I was going to do, when am I going to do my admin? And I book it into so everything's scheduled in my life. And then that way I'm really highly efficient. The key thing I don't do in the morning is I don't turn on my phone unless it's the most important thing for me to do today. So for example, this week, today is a Friday. I've been away nearly all week out of my business. I've been away on meetings and various things. So this morning I got up and I did turn on my phone, because the most important thing was for me to answer all of my social media, because I'd neglected it most of the week. But most mornings I'll get up, phone is off, and I'm like, right, what's the most important thing today? Okay, a project, I need to write this blog, I need to, help this client, like whatever. And I do the most important thing, because while social media is great, it's a massive distraction. So for me, it's about controlling the distractions in my life. And how many people would say, oh, I'm a procrastinator, or, oh yeah, I'm not very consistent. It's because we let stuff in. So my evening routine is like, my phone goes off at about 9:30, 9:45, like I'm in bed by like 10:15. Me and the fiance, we have a bit of time chatting and stuff, but the light is off by like 10:45 at the latest, because I know that I need to get up at a certain time to do my work in the morning. But it's about controlling all those environments. So I would just ask anyone watching, listening to this, to stand back and say, well, where do I go astray? Where does my attention get wavered, and how can I fix that? And the chances are it's probably your own fault, because you're not controlling the inputs. And as soon as we control the inputs, we're in control.
It's good advice. You don't tend to get that message when you listen to a podcast, watch a video, read a book. They're normally very direct, aren't they? You should be doing this, you should be doing that. And I was reflecting on one of my vids the other day, and the title for it was equipment every personal trainer should own. And it's live, and I thought, oh damn, I should have put could, because actually we're all adults, we've got our individual needs, and no one has to do anything, do they? But you could, if you want. If you listen to the advice and you think, actually, that would work for me, then you could own those pieces of kit, not you should. So I'm quite conscious about that, and the message I was getting from you then is, we're all different, and learn what works for you, kind of thing.
There's a really good book that interviews like loads of really successful people on their morning routines, and it's amazing how loads of them are really different, and they're really different because everyone's different. So there's a friend of mine, very successful, great guy. He gets up and every morning he spends 10 minutes meditating, he spends 10 minutes journaling, and then 10 minutes planning his day. I don't have a huge amount of benefit from meditating at this point in my life, because I've spent quite a bit of time meditating. I do think it's an important process to go through, because I think it teaches you to have more of a subconscious meditative state. So like you're constantly already kind of meditating when you've been through that process, because what really meditation does is it makes you more aligned with your thought processes and your feelings. So if you have kind of gone through that process properly, you don't need meditation quite as intensively as other people. It might be that you need meditation a lot in your life. You have a very busy mind because you really struggle to calm it down and get control of your thoughts. So you have to have that thing in your life to help control what is inherently maybe a character trait in you. And I was, discussing with this guy, I was like, I've tried all of that. I've tried the journaling, I've tried various different things, and I'm like, Do you know what? I just like to get up in the morning, spend 5 minutes outside, just getting the fresh air, cold, fresh air, let my dog have a wee and stuff while the coffee's on the brew, and then I just crack on with my day. That's it. But that works for me.
Yeah.
Might not work for other people.
I'm in the middle. The book you mentioned wasn't a Tim Ferriss book by any chance, was it?
It's not, no.
Oh, okay. But I've tried the journaling thing, and I haven't made it work for me. So I've kind of abandoned it. For me personally, I can totally see the benefits to it. For me personally, it was a bit too clinical as a daily routine.
Yep.
Does that make sense? I kind of.
Yep.
It almost felt a bit too serious.
Yep.
And I wanted to chill out a bit, you know. I probably do need to do the meditation thing though. Need to work on that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think journaling is a great skill and resource to use when something is troubling you. So if you're not sure how to contextualize something, even as a client, you've got a client that's got a problem and you don't have someone to speak to, or it's not the right time, just get a pen and paper and write down the problem. And as you've probably been aware from doing a bit of journaling, when you see it written out, you're way more logical about the problem, because a problem in your head bounces around like a bouncy ball, and you're just like, you know, you're just trying to catch it, and that's when you kind of stew over it, and the problem just gets bigger and bigger. But you write it down, and you're like, well, actually, if I could, maybe I'll try this. Maybe I've not seen that, and that's where I think journaling is really good, because quite often we use journaling in people that struggle with like emotional eating. You know, right, sit down, write how you feel right now. Write why food is a support mechanism for you, and actually that creates a lot more of a rational thought process with people that are generally irrational with their thoughts. So it is a great tool.
Yeah, again, I like that. Yeah, that's so. You basically what you're suggesting, I think you're suggesting is it's almost using it as a reactive tool to a situation rather than grinding it out daily because you've read somewhere that some professional or successful coach says you should do journaling every day. Is just keep it in your arsenal for when you really need it.
100%. So, but now let's think about character types. You just talked about being reactive. A lot of people we know are very reactive all the time. So journaling could be really good for them as an everyday practice. I'm not a very reactive person. I'm very rational, very calm. So journaling is something that I use very rarely. If you're in the middle, you might use it 2 or 3 times a week because something gets on top of you. So again, it's about assessing the person and going, this person does this as their natural character tendency. Okay, so we know that in this person, this process would be really good. So for example, we might have a client, they might lie in bed, 10 o'clock at night, we want them to go to sleep because we're their trainer saying you need to get to bed on time, but they're sitting there with a really busy mind, really hyperactive mind, quite emotionally driven, thinking about what happened that day, what's going to happen the next day. They are the perfect client to implement a gratitude log and journaling process for them at night. Spend 10-15 minutes because they're that type of person that can't get into bed, just switch off their mind and go to sleep. For that person that gets into bed, switches off their mind and just goes to sleep, they don't need journaling.
No.
They don't need a gratitude log. They're already asleep.
That makes perfect sense.
Right tool for the right person.
I don't think I needed it at the time. I think that's exactly it. Because I addressed it almost like, things are going pretty well at the moment. What else can I work on? I haven't tried that journaling thing yet. I'll give that a go. So obviously I didn't need it.
Yep.